So I just want to ask you kind of like, what was the motivation behind, and you can be honest, right? What was the motivation behind coming and saying, yes, Nay, this sounds cool, I'll do this event? What was the motivation for you?
I think the main motivation for me in doing this, I mean, we'd kind of been having a conversation for a while about, like, is there a way just to not do concerts? Like, is there something a little bit more, you know, to raise awareness? Like, is there that, or is there other ways we can do that? And obviously, I'd first heard about the flooding in Pakistan in July, and you know, it was a huge. Obviously, you guys saw the footage if you were here earlier. It was pretty intense. But the thing that struck me the most, I think, over the course of the summer, just really kind of, I remember how moved sort of so many people, including myself, were about the Haiti earthquake in January, and I mean that set records for donations for the amount of, you know, that people were giving, especially in Canada, and it just kind of blew my mind a little bit to come across some news articles that were talking about how little support had been raised to date for a disaster where there was, you know, 10 times the amount of displaced people. I mean, 20 million people, it's hard to put that number into perspective, but I mean, there's 32 million people in Canada, so 2/3 of Canada is homeless and foodless and shelterless and without safe drinking water. And for me, that just was like, man, this is an urgent need, and you know, I know, anyway, just something we can all kind of support. And I just want, and anyway, so you approached me about doing this event, and I just thought this is a great opportunity just maybe to raise a bit of awareness for that, because just because there hasn't been that much coverage about it in the news. So
cool. And what moves you to think about the other and to be concerned about the other? In a culture and in a society where the individual, the me is so driven home often in our society and in our culture. Like, why? Like, why? What does this mean to you? Why do you care about the other?
big questions.
Okay, maybe I didn't plan this one, but you know, I'm just like, let's get to the big jugular, you know.
Well, I think for me, I mean, I guess I just realized you don't get to choose where you get to choose a lot of things in life, especially being North Americans. There's a lot of choice. It's kind of the motto of our culture, and you don't get to choose where you're born. And so for me, I just feel like, man, I'm so blessed. I'm born into this culture where there's all these opportunities for all of us. I mean, there's all these social safety systems. You know, it's very difficult to, you know, if that disaster were to happen here, for example, it would be very, very different in terms of how it would look in the response, and you know, we would all, you know, there would be military, there would be all kinds of things that would help distribute food and water very quickly, and it would be a much different picture. So anyway, I guess I feel like with kind of those kind of blessings, and there's a bit of responsibility for me that goes along with that. I feel like I've been given this life here where, you know, we can afford to go out and drink coffee and, you know, have a drink or two and get to play something like music. This is a huge privilege. So I just feel a sense of responsibility that there should be a portion of what I do to give back that's, you know, that's not paid. I mean, 100% of tonight is going towards World Vision. So yeah, that's kind of the long answer, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it kind of touches on something that I see, and I see it in you. You have influence, and you have a voice as an artist within culture. And how do you see the role of the artist in society today, in light of, you know, what you've just explained, in the sense of having a responsibility to do something, or, you know, being responsible with the gift that you've given? What do you see, you know, your role within society as an artist? Do you see a role?
She's good. She's really good. Absolutely. I think, like, I know there's a lot of different ways that debate can go, but I think, you know, for better or for worse, I mean, the arts are really kind of what makes up our culture, really. Like, You know, the thing, I think, I mean, the whole purpose of the arts, you know, over the ages has always been sort of, for the most part, I think, a way of, it's kind of a mirror. It's kind of, you know, telling us about ourselves, the things that we're fascinated with, the things that we're interested in, you know, as a group, as a whole, as a people, as a country, whatever. And, you know, I feel like part of, I guess, my role in that is just, hopefully hoping making people think and ask questions about why do we do things the way we do? Why do we live a certain way? Why are we so obsessed with checking our Facebook statuses every 15 to 25 minutes? You know, or you know, maybe there's some good things about that. Maybe there's some bad things too. And I think, you know, the job of not necessarily the out front job, but, you know, you watch a good movie or you read a good book or you hear a good song, and hopefully it can take you on a journey that at the end of it kind of makes you think about your life and about other people a little bit differently. I mean, I think it's an incredible process. It's very mysterious, and also it's just something that gets me really excited to do something like music. So.
Yeah, I mean, you bring a very special gift, and I know you've brought it into many people's lives. Like, I've loved listening to your EP, and I love your songwriting and the way that you challenge me to think, and it's a real gift, right? And it's a gift that you share, and I think that's something that's you have. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you have a very unique voice, and in the midst of a society where uniformity and conformity is kind of like, you've got to be this sort of person, you've got to be that sort of person, you've got to look like this, or you've got to act like this, or you've got to sing these songs in this way, or do this. I think you managed to do that. You managed to do that well. You managed to maintain your own voice, and how do you do that? Like, how do you stay true to the Zaac pick inside of you and not conform to Luke, or, you know, not conform to the big stars that are out there? How do you? Luke, you're a big star. Did I just say something really bad there? Okay. Yeah. How do you remain Zaac Pick? Like, how do you keep grounded, right? How do you?
Well, I think that's it, really. I find, for myself at least, especially in a culture where you're supposed to have a smartphone with email and things on it, you're supposed to be in touch with people. If somebody, you know, if your phone rings and nobody gets a hold of you, they text, and it's just, we're so, we want everything so fast and so instant. And I think one of the things about that, it kind of wears you out after a while, like just how, because it's just, you're always on, you're always plugged in, kind of a feeling, at least for me anyways. And I think it's really important to strike a balance and, you know, kind of go somewhere where there's actually no cell reception, or somewhere where you can just rest and think and hear yourself think. I think that's really, really important, and it's something I feel like I struggle really hard to maintain a balance with. Just, you know, downtime. It's actually funny. I haven't read tons of his work, but I'm a beginning fan of Douglas Copeland. I don't know if anybody's heard of him. And he has this phrase called time shrink that I just read about the other day that I just thought was hilarious, because it's basically his whole thing about time shrink is what happens when your sense of time, it feels like everything's just happening so fast and things are happening so quickly you can't even process them or think about them. But that happens because we don't leave space between activities anymore. It's like, well, if you're in line for something, you should be, you know, calling someone or making use of your downtime. You know, we're not supposed to have downtime anymore, I guess. But I think it's really important for, you know, for your spirit, for your mental health, for everything, just to have that time.
So don't call Zaac on a downtime. Won't reach him. So rest is important for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stepping out and stepping away. Okay. So